Hi guys, it's Mrs. Caldwell. I just thought that I would jump in and start doing some of these screencasts for the notes for you guys. So today we're going to take a look at Unit 7, Day 5, which is adding and subtracting rational expressions. I know you guys already did simplifying, multiplying, and dividing. So I'm going to actually give you a couple minutes here. I want you to go ahead and try numbers 1 and 2. So go ahead and pause the video and then go ahead and press play when you're ready to go over it. All right, so for number 1, as you guys already talked about multiplying, you're just going straight across. Okay, and then we're going to look at anything we can factor. So that first piece there, we can't do anything with factoring, so we're just going to leave it as x minus 2. The second part here, x squared plus 7x plus 10. Depending on what you did in Algebra 2, okay, you can make a factor box and see what adds to 7x. Or you can just look at what multiplies to give you 10 that adds to give you 7, which is 5 and 2. Okay. So we get x plus 5 and x plus 2. On the bottom here, both of these have something in common. They both have a GCF, greatest common factor. Remember, always look to see if you have a GCF first. So you can take out a 2 here and you're left with x plus 5. Okay, same thing for this one. You can take out a 2 and you're left with x minus 2. Our final step, we're going to look at and see if anything on the top and bottom cancel. So x minus 2 cancels and x plus 5 cancels. So I'm left with x plus 2 on the top and 2 times 2, which is 4, on the bottom. All right, for number 2, the difference here is we have division, which means we want to change this to multiplication by flipping the fraction. So I'm going to put x squared minus 4 on top and x plus 2 on the bottom. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cross that whole piece off. Everything else is the same. Okay, I'm going to see if I can make a factor box with this piece right here, or what multiplies to give you 4, that adds to give you 4. Okay, what multiplies to give you 4 adds to give you 4. And that's 2 and 2. So x plus 2 and x plus 2. All right, this piece here we call a difference of squares. So if you wanted to make a factor box, you would notice there's no middle term, so you'd call that 0x. Or you're looking at what multiplies to give you 4, adds to give you 0. In that case, it's positive 2 and negative 2. On the bottom, nothing factors out of x minus 2, and nothing factors out of x plus 2. Be careful here when you cancel, because you'll notice you have x plus 2 3 times, but only one of them cancels with the x plus 2 on the bottom. Our x minus 2's cancel, and I'm left with just x plus 2 times x plus 2. You can distribute that if you want, but you don't have to. You can put that over 1 if you want, but you don't have to. So if you just leave it like that, that is totally fine. All right, so now we're going to move into the new piece, which is adding and subtracting fractions. And today, all the fractions are going to have like denominators, which is what we want. Okay, so you'll notice here our denominator 14 and 14. As long as our denominator is the same, we can add those. So if I had 2 out of 14 and 5 out of 14, I'm just going to add these together, and I get 7 out of 14. Notice my denominator stays the same. Okay, then I'm going to see, can I simplify that? What goes into both 7 and 14? 2. If I divide each of these by 2, I'm left with 1/2. Okay, we're going to do the same thing for number 4. Notice we have the same denominator, which means our denominator is going to be 9. 8 plus 4 is 12. What goes into both 12 and 9? 3. And I'm left with 4/3. Subtracting is the exact same as long as the denominator is the same. 10 and 10. Okay, 9 minus 3 is 6. What goes into both 6 and 10? 2. And I'm left with 3/5. Okay, last one. Oops. My denominator is 18 for both of these. 3 minus 15 is going to give me a -12/18. What goes into both -12 and 18 is 6. I get -2/3. Okay, so not bad, just adding or subtracting whatever's on the top, leaving the bottom as is. Exact same thing, even if you have binomials or trinomials on the top. Okay, as long as your denominators are the same, you can just add the top or subtract the top. The only difference is when I add this together, I have to look for like terms. So 3x and 2x I can add together. -4 and 5 gives me 1. And that's it. 5x plus 1 over x plus 3. Go ahead and try B. If you want to pause the video and go ahead and try that. All right, so we have the same denominator. And then I'm just going to add the top. Nothing adds with x squared. Oops. 4x and 2x gives me 6x. And, oops. I need to see if that was a plus or minus. That was a plus. So 20 minus 4 is 16. The only thing with subtracting that gets a little difficult is you need to make sure that you distribute that minus sign. Okay, so we know our denominator here is going to be x squared plus 2. I'm going to distribute this minus sign to both of these, and I'm just going to write it up on top. So now I have 2x minus 4x, which gives me a -2x. -1 and -4 gives me -5. Okay. Go ahead and try B. I'll give you a second. I would pause the video and play it when you're ready. All right, we have the denominator of x minus 1. And then I'm going to distribute this subtraction. When I do that, it's just going to change all these signs. So if they're plus, it's going to change them all to minus. Okay, so now I have 3x squared minus x squared is 2x squared. I have 4x minus 3x, which is 1x. And then I have 20 minus 5, which is 15. And that's my final answer. All right, go ahead and try this last one on your own. Pause the video and play it when you're ready. Okay, so we have our denominator is x plus 4. When I subtract this, it's going to change both of those to minus. Nothing adds with that x squared. I have negative 7x, and negative 2x gives me negative 9x, and 2 minus 5 gives me negative 3. Okay. All right, go ahead and try those 3 you-try problems. Pause the video and then come back when you're ready. All right, for A, we see our denominator here is x squared minus 3. Since this is just addition, I'm going to look for like terms. 6x and 3x gives me 9x. 5 minus 1 gives me 4. For B, my denominator is x plus 7. Since it's minus, I'm going to have to distribute that negative sign, which just changes all of these signs. My like terms, 5x squared minus 3x squared is 2x squared. 4x and negative 3x is 1x, or just x. And 8 plus 2 is 10. All right, and our last one, again, this is minus. Our denominator is x plus 2, so I am just going to distribute that by changing both of these signs. Nothing adds with x squared. Plus 12x minus 5x gives me a 7x. And then 6 plus 4 gives me 10. Okay, and that would be my final answer. But this one has a little bit more to it. Okay, so if you notice, this actually factors. Well, multiplies to give you 10, adds to give you 7. X plus 5 and x plus 2. Why is that so special? Because now our x plus 2's cancel, and we are just left with x plus 5. Okay, so for these other ones, I noticed, this one didn't really factor. Okay, other ones we had, this didn't factor, this doesn't factor. Nice. So check to see if you can factor them, just like we did with the multiplying and dividing and the simplifying. And if you can, go ahead and do that. All right, so what I want you to do next is the day 5 assignment. Okay, so go ahead and try this, and then when you're done, check the answer the answer key on Schoology. All right, I hope everyone is doing well, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.